Proceed with the interrogation.
Now, I'm going to ask you if you can take a look at this exhibit. You wrote this in his memorial book. It says, Travis, you're beautiful in the inside and out. Doesn't it?
Yes.
Isn't that kind of a lie, according to what you told us in court today?
I believe that he had inner beauty, so I guess that would be no.
So, you think that someone who masturbates to pictures of little boys is beautiful on the inside, right?
I don't think that aspect of him is beautiful at all.
Well, you did write beautiful in the inside. And yet, you knew, according to you, that he had this issue, right?
Yes, but I believe that he could get better.
I'm not asking you if you believe that he could get better, man. I'm asking you whether or not someone is beautiful in the inside if they have the problem that you have told us about.
I believe that he had aspects of himself that were beautiful and some that were ugly, just like I do.
Okay, man. I'm going to finally ask you to look at this. You sent this email to Alexander on June 7, 2008, when you had already killed him. You thought that it was okay to send this message?
I didn't feel that it was okay. It's not like that at all. So I guess that would be no.
Then why aren't you sending it? Are you sending it so that it could reach him to the grave or what?
No.
You're sending it to cover up what you have done, so you won't have to face the consequences of what you did, right?
Yes.
Why don't you start with hate you and read us to us what it says?
Hey you, I haven't heard back from you. I hope you're not still upset that I didn't come to see you. I just didn't have enough time off. It's okay, sweetie. You're going to be here in less than 2 weeks. We're going to see the sights.
Yeah. And you also told that to check things off the list. And all kinds of fun things that you were gonna do in Oregon. It's beautiful this time of the year. Yay! Be happy. You wrote that, right?
Yes.
And that was an attempt to cover your crime, right?
Yes.
No more questions.
You may dismiss.
The state would like to call Samantha and Steven Alexander to stand.
I'm Steven Alexander. Travis is my older brother. You want to know how our life has been changed forever by the brutal slaying of my brother? I'm a former soldier. I have tried different antidepressants. I have been hospitalized for ulcers and I continuously wake up in the middle of the night, like the harrowing nightmares of someone stabbing me or my daughter. I thought my brother was bulletproof. I thought he was stronger than anyone. He couldn't be cut down. I thought in his childhood he wrecked several cars and nothing happened to him. He rolled a snowmobile and again, not even a scratch. In the wake of my brother's death, I could not be the husband my wife deserved, and we got separated. And now I only see my daughter infrequently. The last time that I saw my brother was in our Christmas family party in 2007. We were playing American Idol, and the only way I could beat Travis was cheating, pretending to be another character. When I found out that my brother has been killed, I remember walking out of my back door screaming, crying to the sky, and I sat down into a corner and cried some more. I thought my brother was bulletproof, and I down into a corner and cried some more. How much did he suffer? How much did he scream? What was he saying? What was the last thing he saw? It's even invading my dreams. I have nightmares. I've even thought going through the house to make sure there is no one. My wife has woken me up out of my nightmares. I know it sounds childish, but I cannot sleep alone in the dark anymore. I hope that today the jury takes in consideration all the evidence that they have presented and has to clear a judgment to give peace to my family.
Today I'm speaking in behalf of my family. Today I want to tell you about how the older brother of 8 siblings died in hands of that woman. I just can tell you how much I love my brother. He was the center of our family. When Travis was 18, our father died, and suddenly our mom did too. So we just tear apart. We are just little boys. He was the older one, and we can stay together. But Travis bring us apart. We always saw him like the center of the family. I can't believe that someone can think of him as a bad person. He was amazing, but I'm his sister. So what can I say? When our grandma called me on June 11 of 2008 and left me a voicemail, I knew something was not okay. When I called her back and my sister Tanisha answered, she told me Travis was dead, and I started crying, wondering why someone can do that to him. The last time I saw Travis was when he went to visit me in South California. We were talking about his motivational book, and we were telling stupid jokes and being silly. That day, he convinced me to take us a photo.
No, Your Honor, may I present exhibit number 18 as an evidence?
You may proceed.
Thank you.
I didn't want to take that photo because I was in pajamas, but he convinced me. And every time I see this picture, I just can't think about how much pain he was suffering. About why would someone do that to him? Stab him 29 times, really? That was necessary? I just can't. So, today, I want you to give us peace. We can't do this anymore. It's 5 years since Travis was killed, and we're still here. We're seeing every single day evidence of his death. This is not healthy for us. We just need a closure. So, the jury, we are asking you today that you please give us the knowledge that my brother was a good person, that he didn't deserve that, because we are completely sure that he never deserved to die in that way unless in hands of someone that he considered a friend. Thank you.
Now we're going to proceed with the closing
Excuse
argument.
me, Your Honor. Before we start the closing arguments, Ms. Arias would like to claim for mercy.
Okay, you may proceed.
I loved Travis and I looked down on him. At one point, he was the world to me. This is the worst mistake of my life. It's the worst thing I have ever done. It's the worst thing I ever could see myself doing. In fact, I couldn't even see myself doing it. Before that day, I wouldn't even wanted to hurt a spider. I picked them up in cups and put them outside. I can hardly believe I was capable of such violence. But I was. And for that, I'm sorry for the rest of my life. I was horrified for what I had done, and I'm horrified still. In many ways, my family has also suffered a great loss. Their pain is fresh because they only learned about it moments ago. The moments their hopes of ever welcoming me home someday were dashed. My dad, who is here today, was in California waiting anxiously in front of the TV. My mom came to visit me after court that dark day. She has spoken to my dad on her way over, and she told me that in the 34 years that they have been together, she has never heard him cry the way he did that day. And I caused that pain. And I will conceive that with Travis's family, there is a much greater loss, and I can never make up for it. I made many public statements that I would prefer the death penalty to life in prison. Each time I said it, though I meant it. Until very recently, I could not imagine standing before of you all and asking you to give me life. To me, life in prison is the most unappealing outcome I could possibly think of. I thought I'd rather die. But as I stand here now, I can in good conscience ask you to sentence me to death because of him. Asking for death is the tend to not to suicide. Either way, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison. It'll be shortened or not. And if it's shortened, the people who will hurt the most are my family. I'm asking you, please, please, don't do that to them. I've already hurt them so badly, along with so many other people. And I want everyone's healing to begin, and I want everyone's hate to stop. Thank you.
You may be dismissed. Now we are going to proceed with the closing arguments to later give time to the jury to decide. The state may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The defense, you may proceed.
This individual, the defendant, Jodi Arias, killed Travis Alexander. And even after stabbing him over and over, and even after slashing his throat from ear to ear, and then even after taking a gun and putting a bullet in his head, she will not let him rest in peace. But now, instead of a gun, instead of a knife, she uses lies. And she uses lies when she stands here in court and tells you lies about to stage the same for you. Now, let's talk about the day that they broke up. The day that Travis got tired and broke up this toxic relationship. On May 26th of 2008, on that prophetic day, he also told her something else in Exhibit 7. May I present it?
You may proceed.
This is a message sent by Travis Alexander to Jodi Arias. She was apologizing to him. Again, she's manipulating him. She does something, she apologizes, and everything is supposed to be okay. But by this time, he has had enough. And he says, I don't want your apology. I want you to understand what I think of you. That's what he's saying to her. He's telling her that he wants her to understand what it is that he thinks of her. He says, I want you to understand how evil I think you are. At that point, when he's writing that, he's extremely afraid of her because of her stalking behavior. And he does think she's evil. And how prophetic. Looking at these next words, how prophetic, how absolutely prophetic. No one can dispute that those are the truest words that are spoken in this case. And they are spoken by Mr. Alexander, even though he's not here, through his writings. You, Jodi Arias, are the worst thing that ever happened to me. Any doubt that it's true? Do we need to look at the pictures of his gashed throat? And as well as she tried to manipulate Mr. Alexander, she's trying to manipulate you. Should you believe that she's the victim here? But there is no truth in that sentence. There is no innocence in someone who plans a murder, because that's what she did. Since the moment she stole the gun from her grandparents' house, since the moment that she sent an email when she already killed him, I mean, what's the point of that? And all of these are facts that show how she tried to cover her crime. And after everything that she has put through to Alexander's family, she still stands here and start telling such things like Alexander's issue with little boys, or the abusive behavior from him to her. But my question is, if she really was that abused from him, if he really had serious issues, why didn't she just let him before? Why was she still hanging out with him? It seems like she doesn't know that in the lexicon of the English language, there is a word. It's called no. And you can use when you don't want something. But of course, it's never her fault. Now, during this trial, you have heard two sides of the story. The one where she's the poor girl who is sexually, physically, and psychologically abused from her boyfriend and had no other choice to kill him but to kill him. And then you have the side of the truth, the one that shows she's a liar and that she premeditated this murder and tried to get away clean from this. Now, it is your decision to choose. Which one will you believe? Thank you.
You're dismissed. Now the jury will deliberate. We'll see you guys later. The defense, you want to talk?
Fear, love, sex, lies, and dirty little secrets. These aspects of the human condition may not be universal, but they were, and they play a prominent role in the relationship that Ms. Jodi Arias shared with Mr. Travis Alexander. A relationship that begins in the fall of 2006 when they first met at a convention in Las Vegas, and a relationship that ends tragically in 2008. And because of these aspects of the human condition playing a prominent role in the relationship, it makes sense that the evidence that you've heard play a prominent role of sex, love, lies, and dirty little secrets. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, one of the things that you've been told at the beginning of this trial is that your job will be ultimately to determine one thing, to determine what happened. But I think that it's a question that we're missing. Haven't you wondered how affected is this woman so that she ended up doing that? How many damage had she suffered? A damage that started not only with Mr. Travis Alexander maniac attitudes, but since her childhood, growing up in a violent family. I'm not asking you to justify this young lady's actions. As a lawyer, more than anyone, I know that actions come with consequences. And I can assure you that Ms. Jodi Arias will take responsibility for what she has done. But alive, isn't that enough to spend the rest of your life in prison? Do you really want to kill this girl and call it justice? Don't we want to evolve? Don't we want to progress? We've been told that everyone deserves a second chance. And that's what I'm asking today. A second chance to Ms. Jodi Arias. Thank you,
You're
Your Honor.
dismissed. Now the jury will deliberate. We'll see you later. All rise. You may be seated. You may proceed.
In the case CR 2008-03-1021-001 in the state of Arizona versus Jodi Arias for the charge of first-degree murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty with a penalty of life in prison.
Well, in the name of all my classmates, I want to thank y'all guys for paying us your attention. May God bless you and have a nice day.